everyone, welcome to Economia. So today's topic of discussion would be Marx's theory of economic development. Now all the explanation of this theory relating to its features, explanations, assumptions and criticism would be discussed in just one video. So let's start. So this theory was given by Karl Marx and it is one of the classical theories of economic development. Now Karl Marx contributed to this theory of economic development in three ways. That is, it's an economic interpretation of history. Second is, it specified the motivating forces of the capitalist development. And third is, it suggested an alternative path of economic development. Let's go to its assumptions. This theory assumes that the society is divided into two groups. That is the bourgeois, which is the capitalist class, and the proletariat, which is the working class. Wages are determined at the subsistence level. FOP, which is the factors of productions, are owned by the capitalist class. Capital is of two types, that is constant and variable, which is discussed further in the video. Labor is homogeneous. Homogeneous in the sense that two types of labor or the two units of labor have the same level of skills. And it is mobile. Mobile means they can easily switch from one job to the other. And there exists a perfect competition in the market. Let's look into the explanation of this theory. So according to Karl Marx, in the long run, profits tend to fall due to rising organic composition of capital. Now, what is this organic composition of capital? Let us understand. It's the ratio of constant capital to variable capital, which is represented by small c and small v respectively. Now, this constant capital is nothing but the non-labor inputs like raw materials, machinery, etc. On the other hand, variable capital means the labor. Now, Karl Marx gave an equation where y is equal to c plus v plus s, where c plus v, as we have already discussed, is the constant and variable capital respectively, y is the total output, and s is the surplus value. Now, the rate of profit according to Karl Marx is determined by this equation, r is equal to s by c plus v. If we divide v on all the terms, we get profit equal to s by v, that is equals to c by v plus v by v. So we can, from this equation, we can infer the relationship between the rate of profit and the organic composition of capital, which is inversely related. Like if the rate of profit increases, organic composition of capital decreases and vice versa. On the other hand, according to Karl Marx, S by V is the exploitation rate and it is directly related to the rate of profit. That means if the profit increases, the exploitation also increases and vice versa. So there is a positive relation between the rate of profit and exploitation rate, and there is a negative relation between organic composition of capital and the rate of profit. According to Karl Marx, in the long run, profits tend to decline. So let us find out the reason why the profits tend to decline. So the exploitation rate, which is the ratio of surplus value to variable capital, remains constant. However, the organic composition, which is the ratio of constant capital to variable capital, it falls. So as a result of which, the rate of profit increases, which leads to a situation of surplus, and it induces the capitalist to reinvest in the output. Now, with the expansion of output, what happens? It creates a pressure on the labor supply, and as a result of such pressure, wages increases. Now, due to an increase in the wages, rates of profits fall. So, this increase in the wages induces the capitalist to resort to labor-saving techniques. Now, just because resorting to labor-saving techniques, the profit again increases, however, with an increase in the unemployment in the economy. Now, since we are resorting to more and more of capitals and machinery, raw materials, so the constant capital increases, whereas on the other hand, we are laying off the labor, so variable capital decreases. As a result of which, there is an increase in the organic composition of capital. And as we have studied that there is an inverse relation or a negative relation between the rate of profit and the organic composition of capital. So with the increase in the organic composition of capital, profits tend to fall. What would happen if the profits tend to decline? Now the capitalist would have a tendency now to compensate themselves for the decline in the profits. They would do so by resorting to increasing the rate of exploitation. They would start exploiting the workers in three ways. Number one, they would extend the working hours of the labor. Number two, they would reduce the wages below the subsistence level. And number three, they would try improving the labor productivity through more and more technology. However, this rate of exploitation could not go on infinitely. I mean, there's a limit to such exploitation. When the wealth becomes concentrated in few hands, along with the misery of labor, a giant crisis type of situation emerges in the economy, which ultimately leads to the destruction of capitalism. So, this was the explanation of Marx's theory of economic development. Let's look into the criticism of this theory. The first is it's only applicable to static economy. That means it's inapplicable to a dynamic setup. The next is machinery, which is the constant capital. It increases unemployment only in the short run. Next is Karl Marx was against the control of population. That means he ignored completely the ill effects of overpopulation. The next is the role of government is completely neglected in this theory. And the last one is, as we have discussed in the explanation too, that ultimately there is a destruction of capitalism in the economy. So this quick falling of capitalism is wrongly predicted by Karl Marx. I hope you are clear with this theory. Thank you.